Hello, my name is Dale Wilhite. I'm right now living in Alpine, Wyoming. If you want to find out anything about me, go to MySpace, Facebook, or Twitter where I have accounts. This here has something to do with the passports that we are given when we travel to a foreign nation, and something that I guess the government should consider adding and requiring before a person can be issued a passport to travel to a particular country. And in that pamphlet, what they need to do is to list what the laws of that nation are. It doesn't have to get technical, but to give you the basics so that you're aware of what the laws are in that land, so that you can possibly stay out of trouble. But it could also be used to warn you about what you might be getting into. And of course, in that pamphlet, if I had my way, they would have to list, give a rating of what the prison system is over there, because some prisons in these third world countries can be very harsh, and if you go into a prison, let's say in Iran, you're really going to be in for it. You may never get out, or you may get out, as in a coffin, or just thrown out in some desert somewhere and set on fire and burned into smithereens, I guess. But the goal of the pamphlet is just to make every tourist or businessman and woman or person maybe working for the government that's going to a particular country aware of what the laws are. For example, a lot of people are not aware that if you travel down to Mexico, of course, you can spend up to a year in prison, maybe 2 years, if you're caught without a passport, and sometimes even longer. And this thing where you can just buy your way out isn't necessarily true. You have to be aware that in Mexico, if you're arrested for a crime, you're guilty until proven innocent. They don't have to prove anything. You have to prove you're innocent. A lot of people don't know that. They go to Mexico many times over and have no clue about that. And there are hundreds of Americans that are just sitting down there in those prison cells in Mexico, but you don't hear much about that, and they're not going to be a place you want to visit, from what I understand. I've never been there, never plan to go there. And so it's things like that people need to be aware of. And one more thing I'll add about the Mexican judicial system is that there is no jury trial. If you are arrested and you're put on trial, there's no jury. It's just your hands are pretty much in the fate of one judge. And you can sit, like in our system, you can sit in prison for a long time waiting for that judge to get around to your case. A lot of people that go to Mexico don't understand that. They don't. I'm referring to Americans. Just today actually it was yesterday, reporting about 4 Americans found shot to death in Mexico. I think a couple of weeks ago, a National Guardsman was killed in Mexico, and a few days ago, a Canadian citizen was burned to death in Mexico. They found his burned corpse in a trunk of a car. These pamphlets can also do is make the tourist or just a person going to that country, American, aware of what's happening in that country at that particular time. They'll keep these tourists and travelers updated, and there'd be a rating as to what the risks are, where not to go, where to go, what's safe and what is not safe, and it just be an alert. We have these other kind of alerts out that warn you, and the State Department warns you, and all that stuff, but that's not good enough. A lot of people don't pay attention to those things. That's why these little pamphlets really need to be mandatory, and they need to be read, and the person, before they give their passport, must sign off that they read it. And I would just throw a little true or false little test in there. At least the government's making an effort to warn them, to educate them to the best of their knowledge, that they understand that where they're going to, what the risks are involved. It's as simple as that. So if you like that idea and you think it has merit, why don't you contact your congressional representative, just email them, send them a letter, and just, pitch it to them, as I've done, and maybe they might consider this for the future. It's something that's really badly needed. Thank you for your time.